The following is a presentation of the Arizona Cardinals Broadcast Network. Coming up on Cardinals Game Plan, Dani, Paul, and Coach Gannon break down the Week 1 victory over the Saints. AQ Shipley takes us inside two key offensive plays that help secure the win and gives us a scouting report on our Week 2 opponent, the Carolina Panthers. Plus, Coach Gannon details how the Cardinals are looking to turn Week 1 success into sustained momentum against the Panthers. It's all right now on Cardinals Game Plan, presented by Dignity Health.
All right, you can't spell Week 1 without the dub, and that's what the Cardinals brought home from New Orleans. And we've got the head coach, Coach Gannon, Paul Calvisi, Dani Sureck. 20-13 win in the Big Easy, but as we all know, wins in the NFL are rarely easy. This one lasted all 60 minutes.
Yeah, it did.
What sticks out the most in hindsight?
Just resiliency to get it done. You know, at the end of the day, like, you know, you can always play a better game, all three phases. You can always do things to, you know, give yourself a better chance. But all three phases did what they had to do and made some plays to help us win that game. And that's, at the end of the day, all that matters. So really proud of our guys, how we hung in there, showed some resiliency when we kind of had the game getting ready to put it away, didn't put it away, and gotten to a close game, you know what I mean? But defense got it done there at the end, and I was proud of them.
After the final preseason game, you had said that the DBs were in your doghouse a bit. They needed to keep their hands down a little more. Yeah. Will Johnson was one of those players. In his debut, had a monster of an outing. He got targeted quite a bit by Spencer Rattler and had some big-time PBUs, that big-time hit on Chris Olave. What did you make of the rookie's debut?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I thought him and Max did a good job. You know, like I said, when it was time, when we chose concepts to get tight, I thought they denied the ball. At the point of attack, both of them played winning football for us. You know, Will had the interception taken off the board because of his buddy not keeping his hands down. But I thought they both played well. You know what I mean? As far as some of the schemes that they were trying to, you know, attack us with, the corners had to do a good job to hold up because we weren't giving them a lot of help at times, and they did a good job.
So offense, Kyler wakes up 4:30 a.m. Yeah. He's sick to his stomach. But no. Guts it out, literally. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, passer rating over 100. I know he lamented leaving some things out there. Overall, how would you assess?
Yeah, I liked where he was at. I really did. I thought we generated some explosives. The ball to Marv, you know, that led to a touchdown. I think that drive. I thought a couple third downs, either him finding the right read or using his legs and finding an open guy. I thought those were huge plays. The 2 to Trey stick out in my head to me. Those were both third and longer, too, to keep drives going. One scored points, but one got out of backed up. Even the one 3rd and 10 backed up late in the game to Marv. But then on 1st and 2nd down as well, you know, a couple things they did a good job. I thought New Orleans defense played pretty well. They took away a couple things that we were trying to get over the top, and he used his legs to scramble for 1st down. So I thought he played extremely well. I got that phone call in the morning and was not pleased. It almost gave me some sickness. But no, I knew he was going to play, and he played well.
Going into the game, you talked about wanting to be more efficient in the deep passing game. We saw that, a 45-yarder from Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. After the game, Harrison said it was evident in that play. You could tell the communication between the two has really grown. Where else have you seen that work they put in together through that first week?
Yeah, I thought, like the slant and 3rd and 10, and then obviously the red zone touchdown, the other ball Marv caught kind of in the middle of the defense. That was a good play. I really just think as a whole, if you're talking about Marv, just played a step faster, a little more physical. I would say a step faster and a little less sped up. Kind of seems like a kind of a oxymoron, but he was in control the whole day and understood how they were trying to defend him, got where he needed to be, and made plays for us. I thought he played well.
Yeah, Kyler said after the game, he could just feel the swag and the confidence is higher than his rookie year. So, all right, more JG in a bit. We'll come back and we'll hit the film room with AQ Shipley.
Cardinals Game Plan is brought to you by Dignity Health, proud partner of the Arizona Cardinals. Hello, human kindness. And by SeatGeek, official primary ticketing partner of the Arizona Cardinals. And in part by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's up, guys? I'm AQ Shipley, former 12-year NFL center and former Arizona Cardinals center, current color analyst in the radio broadcast booth, and I can't wait to take you inside the film room of two of my favorite plays from this week's game against the New Orleans Saints. Let's dive right in. Cardinals come out. They're inside the 5. Anytime you get inside the 5, you got a bunch of crazy stuff you can do defensively and offensively. Becomes very important because you have the back line on offense that serves as the 12th defender. So when you take a look at this, James Conner lines up on the right side. 9 times out of 10, coordinators will have James Conner on this side and come across like that. But what they do, what's really cool, they start him this way. Everything is eye candy in today's game. So James Conner's going to start across like he's running a zone play to the left, when in reality, he's going to start left, then come back for the touchdown. Also, left guard, Evan Brown, as he pulls, he's going to come this way. If Cam Jordan crashes, he has to block him. If Cam Jordan goes up the field, he turns up and then will block Demario Davis. I'm going to let this thing roll. So as we see here, Trey McBride is going to go in motion. He, part eye candy, but he's also going to be the outlet pass if anything goes wrong. Cam Jordan is lost. Look at his eyes. He doesn't know what's happening right now. He's stuck. And then when he sees Kyler roll out this way, he will climb up the field like that. Then Evan Brown pulls around, gets the kick out here, and we get the nice little shovel up underneath. There it is. Walk in, show emotion, celebrate with the boys. Let's go. All right, I'm going to dive into the second play right now. This is the big run from Trey Benson down the right sideline for 52 yards. Cardinals come out. They got 2 tight ends to the left and a fullback who's also a tight end. 13 personnel means 1 back, 3 tight ends. Even though he's lined up as a fullback, still considered 13 personnel to the defense. Trey McBride one-on-one right there with the guy over top of him like that. And then Michael Wilson's going to come. He's got the hardest block because he's got all-pro linebacker Demario Davis flowing heavy over the top. Everywhere else basically becomes zone play to the right. When we have zone play to the right, we're going to get a reach block here. We're going to get a combo up here to the backside linebacker. We're going to get a combo up here to the safety. And we got Elijah Higgins coming out, picking up the second guy that we don't see on the screen. There it is. I just set up the play for you. Let's let it run. Look at this. This is incredible right here. That is such a hard block. 250 pounds of Demario Davis trying to run through a wide receiver. All you got to do is get a hat on a hat and get in the way. Let's let this thing run. Boom, you get the kick out. Higgins, great job at the point of attack. Boom, now we're out the gate. Run, run, run. Tiptoe down the sideline. 52, big 96 somehow. Runs a 4.7 and makes the play down the field. But what a monster play. End up getting a field goal out of that drive. Awesome, awesome, awesome run by the Arizona Cardinals.
Closed captioning sponsored by Your Valley Chevy Dealers. The segment is presented by Hyundai, proud partner of the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, back with head coach Jonathan Gannon. We talked about the explosive to Marvin Harrison Jr. How about the 52-yard scamper by Trey Benson? I asked him, I said, okay, now what was your confidence level you're going to get to the edge? He said, oh, absolutely, because that play was hitting in practice. How often do you need to see a play work in practice before you'll put it on the game sheet?
Pretty often.
Yeah?
Pretty often. I know I don't obviously call the plays here, but for the play callers, they got to see it in practice and see it executed and have confidence in the play. And that, honestly, that particular play, coming out of half, what they were doing with some of the interior run stunts and what they were doing kind of to take off double teams and not let us lean on them on the line of scrimmage and run the ball inside. That was kind of a play down the sheet that was an adjustment. Like, let's get to some fast flow, edge attack plays, I would call them. And I thought Higgins had a great block on that. Mike Wilson blocks Demario Davis on that, which was a huge block that really sprung it. So that was a big time play. We got 3 points out of it, which was big.
No turnovers by the offense. You went on 3rd down, 1 in the red zone. So as you go from week 1 to week 2, offensively, where do you want to see the most improvement?
Yeah, let's take care most improvement because we did do a good job with the ball, which we got to make sure we do a good job there. I'm always going to say let's generate a couple more explosives. And I would like to run the ball a little bit better, in between the tackles. I'd like to get the run game going a little bit, which sets up the actions and keeps you in third and shorters, hopefully. So allows you to take more shots down the field on second down if you're getting 6-8 a pop on first down. So run game sets up a lot for us. So I'd like to do a little bit better in the run game and generate a couple more explosives.
The shovel pass with a touchdown was pretty.
Play.
You've been sitting on that for a while, maybe?
A little bit. In practice, actually, it got batted down by the end. And Drew says, I just don't think that's the reaction that we're going to get from 96 on that play. And to his credit, talked about it and said, hey, like if he plays in between, you probably got to throw it out there. But if he's up the field, throw it in. And that was a good play. It was good design.
Home opener against Carolina Panthers, who lost their first game. What do you expect from the Panthers?
Their best shot. There's no doubt. And, and I don't live in the past, but last year, if you remember, it's the same. It's kind of a similar team. We're a similar team. And they beat us up on the road when we went there to play them. So we obviously got a lot to play for. First time in front of our fans, which will be exciting. Our home opener. But they're going to come out swinging. I know that.
You know where you are different is the defensive front. How do you think you fared in the opener? And then how much more equipped are you to stop Chuba Hubbard and that Carolina offensive line? They return all 5 starters. I mean, do you like the matchup?
They have a good O-line. Yeah. If you look, they got some premier players on the O-line, and the back's really good. I do have a high opinion of the running back. But I think, from last game, I thought our D-line did a pretty good job in the run game. We're going to have to do a little bit better, you know what I mean? Because we're going to have to play a little bit of shell, and to do that, you're short a guy in the fit, and the D-line's got to stop the run. So that'll be a point of emphasis for us.
It'll be the second straight week game planning for a young quarterback, a mobile quarterback now in Bryce Young. How different is your game planning throughout the week when you've got a quarterback like that you're facing rather than a veteran who's been in the league for a dozen years?
Yeah, you got to understand who you're playing, you know what I mean? And when you talk about affecting the quarterback, you got to understand how the quarterback plays first. And he plays a different way. So we're going to have to do a good job. Again, not going in the past, but I do not love how we played him in the pass game the last time we were there. I thought he got out way too much. He killed us with his legs. Extension plays, then throwing it down the field. We got to do a good job on him.
Okay. We'll get some keys to the game with Jonathan Gannon a little bit later. Up next, we'll get an opponent breakdown, the Carolina Panthers through the eyes of AQ Shipley. All right, Cardinals won't say it, but I will, mainly because I have big AQ Shipley who has my back, former Cardinals center, new radio analyst AQ Shipley. Welcome to Game Plan.
I appreciate it.
All right, Cardinals owe Carolina one. They went to Carolina last year, lost, knocked them out of the playoffs. How much can you use a game late December here in early September?
I think the biggest thing is, especially when you have the same staffs from the previous year, you can take a little bit there, but at the end of the day, it's a new season, it's a new start, it's a new team. There's always going to be guys. We always say it at the end of the year, this will never be the same team again, right? Like free agency happens, draft happens, all these different things happen. So you got to take each year, year by year, you got to take each game, game by game. And so when you look at it, all you got to do is look back to last week, and that's really the only film you have on this Carolina Panthers team. And I think when you look at that, they got beat up pretty good by a Jacksonville Jaguars team.
Yeah, I mean, let's start in the trenches, your area of expertise, right? I mean, Jacksonville really dominated both lines of scrimmage, did they not?
They really did. It was good to see, actually, whenever I turned on that film, because now going into week 2, I'm like, okay, here we go. The Cardinals have everything available. Derek Brown, who I actually played against as a rookie, is a very good football player, but he got moved pretty easily. He's coming off a knee injury, so I don't know if he's feeling his way back in a little bit right now, but the Jacksonville Jaguars ran for 200 yards last week, 0 sacks, and had the lowest pressure rate of any NFL team.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
So that O-line definitely dominated the D-line. And you're right, Derek Brown, former top 10 pick, 2023 before the knee injury, he set a NFL record for tackles by a D lineman. But a lot of their struggles were on offense as well, and you've seen the quarterback, Bryce Young, former Heisman winner, he's been up, he's been down. A year ago this time, they started 0-2. He got benched. He was running the scout team. But then he finished with a flourish, including the Cardinals game. His last 3 games, he had 10 touchdowns, no turnovers. Tell us about Bryce Young.
Yeah, I've had so many conversations about him because his college tape is unbelievable, right? And I think when you talk to anybody when he was coming out of Alabama, unbelievable, super smart, super intelligent. Transition's going to be smooth and flawless. He's just going to take off and flourish. Wasn't the case, right? I think when you get into the NFL, there's so much more that goes into it. And situation, scheme, and fit, everything plays into that. Your offensive line may not be that great, right? You may see a bunch of new pressures early on as your rookie year. I think that's what happened. Then he was able to take a step back, let Andy Dalton do his thing for a little bit, learn a little bit, take a little bit of the pressure off. And then he came back and he started to play well again. Well, then here we are, new season. Guess what happened? Same old Bryce Young. So you don't know who you're getting right now. And I don't know if that's all him. You got to take a look at so many more factors, but he did get a first-round receiver this year. He's got some new pieces. It's just, will he take off in week 2? We'll find out.
Top 10 rookie Ted McMillan out of U of A. He had a pretty good game. The rest of the receivers didn't do much. They had a problem even getting out of the huddle and getting to the line of scrimmage without time running out on the play clock. But they have Chuba Hubbard. And they have all 5 starters coming back on the Carolina offensive line, including that right guard, Rob Hunt, who was a big deal last year.
Yeah, they're 2 big free agent acquisitions last year. Rob Hunt and Damian Lewis out of Seattle, both really good guards. They like their group up front. They really do. I think that's where they need to lean on. Our old offensive line coach here, my old offensive line coach for a very long time, Harold Goodwin's their run game coordinator and offensive line coach. So if I know one thing, he is going to be preaching all week. Let's hammer the run game. Let's hammer the run game. Get back to this, because if you hammer the run game, which they're built well up front, they got a good running back who can literally lower his shoulder and get after it, then you can make everything more comfortable for Bryce Young.
All right, the game within the game, the matchup to watch for the Cardinals on offense. J.C. Horn, their premier corner, going against Marvin Harrison Jr., but Marvin's no longer a rookie. He's more equipped this time around, isn't he?
We've been hearing it all preseason, right? The camaraderie between him and Kyler have really taken that next step, and we see it in week 1, right? I think he gets the early catch, he gets the deep ball. A lot of things went his way. Whenever you look at this, you expect him to continue to grow every single week. It's not just doing it 1 week now, right? You expect consistency. You expect at least 4 for 80 every single week, especially from a top 5 pick, and I think we're going to see that again this week.
Yeah, J.C. Horn known for being physical. We know Marvin is bulked up. That'll be a good thing to watch. You know what? AQ is going to stick around. Head coach Jonathan Gannon back right after this.
Cardinals Game Plan is brought to you by Dignity Health, proud partner of the Arizona Cardinals. Hello, human kindness. And by SeatGeek, official primary ticketing partner of the Arizona Cardinals. And in part by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, back with head coach Jonathan Gannon. AQ Shipley sticks with us. Kyler said repeatedly after the win, all right, we want to do more on offense. What does more look like, ideally, theoretically, in week 2?
Yeah, I think possess the ball a little bit better and then score more points. That's what he's probably saying. I don't know that for sure. But I know he always wants to stay on the field, sustain drives, and score points. That's the name of offense. So that's probably what he means. And you know, just like all of us, I'm sure he wants a couple plays back here and there. So we'll get those things cleaned up and hopefully do enough to win the game.
Coach, I dove into the film this morning. I took a look at the Jaguars versus the Panthers, and 200 yards rushing, 0 sacks allowed. How much can you take from that game into your new game plan?
That's an excellent point, AQ. A lot. You know, I think we need to get the run game going because that opens up the pass game and it allows you to throw the ball down the field when they're starting to sell out to stop the run. So want to get the run game going, make sure we take care of the football, and let's do a good job and generate some explosives.
Your alter ego, the offensive line. We haven't asked you yet. What did you think in week 1?
I thought they were good. I thought tackles played well. That's what I said. I thought as a whole we did a good job. I thought they had some good things schematically to take some of the run game away from us, which forced us to get to some other things. But I thought we held up in pass pro pretty good, and always things to clean up. That was their first time playing that many snaps together, you know, this year. So I expect a big improvement from week 1 to week 2.
J.C. Horn, their star corner, just got a big contract extension, $100 million, and he's a physical guy. You know that from last year. How much more equipped is Marvin to go against him now in year 2?
I mean, I think it'll be a good battle. You know what I mean? There's no doubt. Like, that's a premier corner, and he's a big guy too. So it's going to be a good battle, and Marv's going to have his fair share of one-on-ones that he needs to win on him. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
When you have a common opponent from year to year, how much can you take from last year's game, or is it, I always say this, right? Like whenever a season's over, that's the last time that team's ever going to be together. So it's a brand new team, right? There's a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces. Can you take a look at what you guys did last year, or is it a whole new game plan?
Yeah, no, you're right, AQ. I think, you know, in us, we're a brand new team too, you know, but we will look at that game and coming out of that game, things that obviously we got to do a better job of this game to win the game, even though it's a new team. But it's kind of the same staff over there. We're kind of the same staff. So you use that as a tool, not as the end-all be-all, but definitely there's some things that showed up in that game last year that we have to make sure we do better at.
You won 5 of your last 6 at home last year. This is going to be the home opener. Do you attribute that to anything specifically? Was there anything, about a
execution? Execution. No, I think our guys love playing at home. I know the fans, it'll be rocking. State Farm will be rocking. The Red Sea will be rolling. So they're looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, you got to control the controllables, play good, clean football, 3 phases, give yourself a chance to win.
Okay, Coach, good luck against
Thank you
Carolina.
guys, appreciate it.
There you go. That'll do it for Game Plan.